What's up YouTube, and welcome back to another video on my channel. If you do going to enjoy today's video, then please be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel to help me reach that 100 subscriber goal that I have to reach by the beginning of the World Cup this winter. Also, if you do enjoy this video, then please be sure to check out previous videos. I do recommend the League 2 fans ranking because today we are ranking the League 1 fans. Now, I haven't been able to experience all of these fans, but a few of them I have been able to. But with that out of the way, let's get straight into the ranking. And so, we have 5 tiers in this tier list for the League One supporters. We have the elite section for the best of the best fans. Then we have the very decent section. We have your bang average section, the meh section, and then we have the tin pot fans, who they might as well not even be there. So, getting into the first team, we have got Wycombe Wanderers. Now, they are a team who are doing well in League One the past couple of years, making the playoffs final last year, of course. However, their average home attendance last season was 5,600, which was beaten by quite a few League Two clubs, which, for a club that's doing well in League One, that is not too good at all. And with an away average following of 655, it's clear that they aren't the biggest travelling supporters either. So for Wycombe Wanderers, it's probably going to have to be a meh in my opinion. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments. But it's a meh for Wycombe Wanderers because it seems they don't take that big numbers, and I can't see them making that much noise. They got absolutely outdone by Sunderland in the playoffs. But at least Wycombe are doing well. Maybe they can get a few more fans in the coming years. Okay, moving on again now, and we have got MK Dons, whose average home attendance at Stadium MK is 9,200, and say they have a 30,000 seater, they can barely fill a third of that, which is absolutely tin pot numbers to say this is another club doing well in that League One. But their also average away following is actually less than Wycombe at 620, which is one of the lower mid-table average away attendances, which is not too good for a club like MK Dons, which is why they are going into the tin pot section, because they are not very good fans at all. These are some fans that we did get to experience in the 18-19 season, and that pitch invasion just shows that they aren't. Well, it shows that they do have a little bit of passion, but their numbers aren't very good and they don't make too much noise. Now, moving on again then to Sheffield Wednesday, the next club down here, and their average home attendance in League One last season was 22,400, while their average away attendance was the highest in the league at 2,464. These are absolutely unbelievable numbers. Their lowest away attendance was 1,001, which is unbelievable to say the least, considering they have to travel to places like Plymouth. That is some top tier fans there, some fans who did fill out the Mansfield away end in the Papa John's Trophy last season. They were even unbelievable just in a game like that, which doesn't really matter to teams, which is why they're going to be the first elite fan base in this tier list. Unbelievable supporters there for the Sheffield Wednesday boys. Now, moving on again, the next team is Plymouth Argyle, and they play their games at Home Park, which saw an average attendance of 13,000 last season. And the average away attendance was 1,157, which is very good numbers there, one of the higher in the league, considering they have to travel far and wide because they are so far down to the bottom of the country. That just shows how unbelievable these supporters are, and they will be going into the very decent category I'm sure Pieface will be happy with that. So Plymouth Argyle, very decent, good numbers, and some good fans there. Now then, the rivals of Plymouth Argyle are Exeter City, and these are our next team. Now, Exeter had an average home attendance at St James Park of 5,200, while they had an average away following of 605, which is not too bad for League Two. It was around the mid-table mark in that league, which in terms of League One supporters, there are many teams better than them. So Exeter City, they have very good home fans, I will say that, but their away support sometimes can be off, but sometimes it can be brilliant depending on the distance. They are not as willing, it seems, as Argyle fans to go the distance. So that is why they're going to be into just the average section. They do make a fair bit of noise at home, but when they came away to my team Mansfield Town, I did not see too much of that. However, it was I believe, Friday night, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but Exeter in the average category. Let me know if you agree. Now then, we move on to Oxford United, and we have got a average home attendance at the Kassam Stadium of 8,400 and an average away following of 1,055. Now this is quite good numbers for a club the size of Oxford, with another club with a three-stander stadium. So 8,400 was like upper mid-table area for average home attendance, and 1,055 was, I believe, top five for average away attendances. So Oxford United are, for me, going to go into very decent because the good away numbers they were taking. Hopefully you can agree with that, but we will see. Now then, moving on, we have got Bolton Wanderers. Their average home attendance was 15,400, while their average away following 1,600. One of the higher in the league there again, and Bolton fans do make a lot of noise. I can have I can say that with educated opinion here from watching a few Bogdan vlogs. You know how it is. But there you go, Bolton into the very decent category. Good numbers, good noise, and some very good fans overall. Okay, now one of the first promoted teams from the second, promoted team from League Two here. We've got Forest Green Rovers, and I did get to experience their fans in their bigger numbers, if you like. Only 400 to see them win the league at my place, which is terrible, really, considering their home average attendance 2,700 and their average away attendance 227. Straight into Tin Pot for Forest Green. Quite embarrassing supporters, actually. There you go. Their drummer, believe it or not, actually stands on some scaffolding in the stand behind the goal, which is quite funny actually. Now then, we move on to Derby County, whose average home attendance at Pride Park last season in the Championship was 23,100, and their average away following 1,800. Not too bad for Derby County, but they did travel in their numbers even when their club was in massive financial situation, of course, and the Derby County supporters still followed their team around the country and made noise for their team, got behind them even in the darkest moment, which is why they are going straight into that elite section here. Unbelievable fans, unbelievable noise, fantastic numbers, and that is where they belong, I do believe. Okay, now moving in to Portsmouth now, and Portsmouth should be higher up the league, really, considering their history. But Portsmouth did pull out a 15,000 average home attendance at Stratton Park last season, while they followed their team with 1,393 average away attendance. Fantastic numbers again for a club so southern who has to travel quite north to places such as Morecambe, but we are going to pop them into very decent. some absolutely fantastic fans, and that guy who dresses up with the bell, absolutely unbelievable passion for the club there. So overall, a fantastic fan base. They could possibly go into elite, but I'm not too sure between some other clubs that Portsmouth might have to stay in very decent. But if you agree, let me know down below. Now then, moving on to Ipswich Town, Ed Sheeran's team, and they played out with a 21,700 average home attendance at Portman Road last season, and they also took a average away following of 1,799. Unbelievable numbers again for a team all the way out in East Anglia. A lot of travelling for them, which is why they are going straight into elite. Unbelievable home attendance, one of the higher ones in the league, only beaten by, I believe, Sheffield Wednesday from League One last season. So that is why they're going straight into elite. Unbelievable supporters, Ipswich. So that is where they belong. Now, Bristol Rovers here, and there you have some unbelievable supporters as well. Very loud supporters, actually. And they had a 7,500 average home attendance at League One, League Two, my bad, last season, while they had an average, the biggest average away following of 1,040, which is very good for League Two. They will be another side in the very decent category, as I did get to experience their fans. They weren't the best at their ground when we travelled there, but were very good on the opening day of last season at our ground. Now then, we will move on again to Accrington Stanley, as these are a team who had the lowest average home attendance in the league last season with 2,900 and an average away following of 222, which is tin pot. It's only just more home attendance than Forest Green, and it's actually slightly lower average away attendance, which is poor for them. So they are another team in the tin pot section for fans. Now then, moving on again, and we have got Charlton Athletic here, who play their games at the Valley Stadium. Of course, they had the average home attendance of 15,500, an average away following of 10,039. While yes, they are good numbers, but I can't say that they are better than the teams above them here, which is why they're going to be the second team into the average category, purely based on how their fans actually are, not their numbers. These fans here show much more passion, in my opinion, and more what a football fan base should be like, the noise, the atmosphere, if you get what I mean. So if you do agree with that decision, then get in the comments and let me know. Now then, moving on to Cambridge United, and their average home attendance at the Abbey Stadium 5,600 and an average away following of 666, which is lower mid-table area. I'm not too sure about Cambridge fans, but these numbers suggest that maybe they are in the meh section. They were, of course, a League Two club, winning the league a couple seasons ago. So I'm going to go from there. So if you do agree, then let me know. But that's what I'm going to be giving for Cambridge here. But now we are moving on to Cheltenham, and they had an average home attendance of 4,200 and an average away following of 307, which is again not the greatest, and it's terrible numbers, and they aren't the greatest set of supporters either. I think they are better than Accrington and Forest Green, so maybe a meh is justified here. Now then, moving on, we have got Burton Albion. Now these are another set of not great fans with an average home attendance at the Pirelli Stadium of 3,229, while their average away following 279. Again, not good numbers at all, but it's the same situation as Cheltenham, where they are probably better than FGR and Accrington Stanley, so probably a meh for them, but purely based on the teams below being worse and Burton being slightly better, as all these teams here do not have the greatest of numbers. Okay, now then, moving on, we have got Lincoln City, and they have an average home attendance last season of 8,700 and an average away following of 818, which is pretty good. It's around the mid-table section. I've seen Lincoln fans a few times in the past few seasons, and they are pretty decent, but I'm not too sure if they can make it into the same level as teams such as Bolton, Portsmouth, and Bristol Rovers. So Lincoln City will make the average section. Not too bad at numbers, around the mid-table mark, so I'm sure average is justified here. Now moving on again to Shrewsbury Town, and not another team I don't know too much about here, as their average home attendance is 6,200 from last season, and average away 485. It's lower mid-table again. It's probably slightly better than these teams here, so it's like between these, probably like the top of a possible average. So we'll go with like here, if it could be an average, if you get what I mean. Okay, moving on again to Morecambe Football Club here, the Tyson Fury Club, as they are probably now going to be known, the Shrimps. Otherwise, their average home attendance 4,300 and their average away following 377. Another team who were once in League Two and never really had a good following. They aren't good fans at all. I've never really heard them make a noise, and they will be going in tin pot for me. So, unlucky to Morecambe, but let me know if you agree with that. Now then, Barnsley Football Club here, and they had an average home attendance of 13,300 last season. Not good for them, considering they were in the Championship and were beaten by a few of the League Two, League One clubs here, an average away from 860, second worst in the Championship. So in terms of League One, they are probably just around average, but if this was a Championship fans ranking from last season, they'd probably be right down. But I'm going to go with average for Barnsley. I'm not too well versed in the Barnsley supporters, but the numbers probably suggest, relative to these clubs, that they are better than these meh clubs, but they are probably better than these average clubs as well. They probably don't quite make it into very decent, so just average. But let me know if you do agree there. Now then, Peterborough United is the next team with a 10,000 average home attendance at their stadium in the Championship last season and a 792 away following, the worst in the Championship. So again, they are probably just average fans for this league. They're probably not better than the clubs above, but they are certainly better than the clubs below. So I'm sure average is again justified in this situation. Now then, we have got Fleetwood up next, and they had an average home attendance of 3,228 and an average away following of 204, which again is not very good numbers, and I believe the Fleetwood fans are not great at all, and they will be the final team into the tin pot section for me here, because poor numbers and not the greatest of fans here, but I'm sure many of you will agree with that. So Fleetwood Town, you are tin pot for me. But again, let me know. Now the final team here is Port Vale, and their average home attendance at Vale Park 6,100 and average away following 832, which again is pretty decent. I'm not too sure they're on the same level as Bristol Rovers and company. So the top of average is where Vale are going to be. Probably not better than Barnsley, but just around this area is pretty decent. Not too bad numbers for the League Two level. I did get to experience their fans again. So not all too that well. A few supporters in the corner making some noise, but it didn't really go all around the ground. And yeah, so average for Port Vale here. Let me know if you do agree in the comments. So with that said, that concludes this tier list. We have ranked every club's fans in League One here. So if you did enjoy this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And yes, also don't forget to go and check out the previous videos where I did rank League 2 fans, etc, etc. But with that said, I'm going to leave this video here and I'll see you all in the next one.